Hey there, thanks for watching. I'm going to be showing you how to use the Casio SK200 sampling keyboard. I've only been playing with this thing for less than a day, but I thought that I'd put a video out there because I don't see many that are showing you actually what this thing could do, and I don't claim to show you everything that it can do. I know that this beat I made on it, and I'm gonna show you from scratch. Hopefully it comes out better than this one, but maybe it'll be worse. I don't know, because the whole workflow is different. It's pretty linear, meaning you lay down samples or lay down notes, and then the sequencer rolls back around, and then you can add notes to that, and then when you want to erase, you hold an erase button all the way through. It's 2 measures for the rhythm track, and the melody track is as long as you can make it or want to make it, to an extent. I think there's like a note length, 1,000, just over 1,000 notes, something like that. So anyway, just like the Casio SK1 and SK5, this is an entry-level sampling keyboard. Although this one introduces the sequencing, the more powerful sequencing, which I think is pretty cool. I actually didn't know this thing could do that. This thing fell in my lap, and I've had it on the shelf for a couple of years, and at this point, I didn't think it worked, but I turned it on the other day and it worked, so here I go. Anyway, turn that down. This keyboard has 4 sample banks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the sampling button, and that'll give you a 0.8 second length sample. And this long sampling button will give you something like a 1.7 second length sample. When you select the bank, you hit the sample button and it goes to the sample pad. You can do 4 0.8 second samples, or you can do 2 1.7 second samples, or you can do 2 short samples and 1 long sample. I'm not going to go over all the built-in Casio sounds, because we all know what those sound like. They vary a little bit, but that's not my interest with this keyboard. Only maybe for doing some accompanying, but I'm going to focus on the sampling, which is, I think, what most of you want to see anyway. Alright, so the thing about it, okay, you've got two program memories, and this is going, like what we're listening to right now is one of the programs. I don't have anything on program 2, but in order to proceed, if both of these were filled up and I wanted to make a new beat, I would have to delete what's on this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is the last that this song will exist, because, well, it's about to disappear. So, this is your start stop button right here. And what we're going to do is hit. So these are the three, we'll call them lanes or something. And this is the rhythm pattern. So this is where the drums are going to be. This is the bass pattern. And this is where you can use the built-in bass sound, and you can't change it. It's just a bass sound. And you can make a two-measure bass line pretty much. And this is the chord pattern lane. And here you're not doing a chord progression so much as you're doing a rhythm. So like a dun 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 dun, and then that rhythm gets assigned to um, the Casio chord section down here, which is you might be familiar with. It sort of just has these predefined chord types for each key, and you tell it where to be, and it stays there until you hit another key. I am not going to be using those features either because they sort of lock you into the Casio world, the Casio sound, like the chords, the bass. Those are going to be built-in Casio sounds. You can't use the samples for those. So, in order to kind of get away from that, I'm just going to be using the samples and the built-in drum sounds, which are also very Casio-ish sounding, but they are what they are. They have their charm, and we're going to use them because they're there. So, alrighty, we'll go to sample. Okay, so we're in the rhythm. I think when you're in this rhythm mode, you're kind of in song playback mode, right? And when you're in a mode, to get out of it, you have to exit the mode by hitting the button of the mode you're in. So I hit rhythm, and now I am in just sort of regular keyboard mode where I can select which sample goes here, which preset goes here. So I'm going to select bank 1. I'm going to play some music and just kind of take some random samples. I may try and get something straight on a kick or straight on a snare. I hope I can capture some variation. I'm going to do it really quickly. I don't want to get a copyright strike. And it's also just kind of fun to do it that way for me. And I'm just going to do 4 short samples instead of messing around with the long samples, just 'cause. All right, so I'm going to play. I didn't even think it was going to be that song. All right. So now those samples have landed here on the sample pads. All right, so we'll keep that for right now. That's how you get the samples in there. And we can change. I'll change that later if these samples just really aren't doing anything. But I'm gonna move on to creating a rhythm track. So here we go to rhythm pattern, and now we're dealing with the drum sounds that are over here. These are those Casio drum sounds you all know. I'm just gonna put some hats down on 1/8 notes, so that I have a metronome. There's no built-in metronome. There's just a light that lights up here. So what I will do now, and also you don't play the keys to register the notes in the sequencer. You select the key, and then you use this, what they call a timing button, and this is where you do your performance. And then if you don't like what you laid down, you just leave the sequencer running and you hold this button, which is a delete button. So these are sample pad buttons, but in certain modes they double as a delete button and a timing button or a performance button. So we'll go to the hat, the closed hat. We'll hit start stop. Okay. I forgot to delete the pattern. So let's go out of rhythm pattern. We'll go into rhythm pattern, hit delete, and program one. So we're deleting the rhythm pattern from program one. So now when I hit rhythm pattern and start, it should be blank. All right. So now we have our lights indicating the BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little fast, so I'm going to slow that down. All right. It's harder than it seems. All right. Now I know sort of the tempo that we're working with. I'm going to say, in order to save this, it's very easy to lose what I just did if I went into a different mode. So what you have to do is stop it and then hit program 1 or program 2, depending on where you're trying to save it. I'm working with program 1 right now. So now it is sort of saved with that hi-hat as program 1, and it'll save there after you turn it off and everything. So if I hit play or start, oh, it's just the hi-hat so far. So yeah, so in order to play the sample with it, we'll go to rhythm. Rhythm is where you play back what you have recorded. We'll hit start. Now I think we'll increase the BPM. One of the few things you can do as far as adjusting the tempo or the sample is you can put a little bit of envelope changes. There are some presets. The only one that really seems to be useful is the one that sustains it. I think there's another one that may take the attack off in case your sample has a click in front or something. So you hit effect. So I'm going to select the first sample, hit effect, and then this is the sustain. So now it'll hold, and I'm going to do that for each one. Effect, sample 3, effect, sample 4, effect. All right. And that translates to these pads as well. But these are just in the original key. So you can lay the samples down along with the drum tracks, which is 2 measures long, and it will quantize to 16 16th notes. You can also lay down a melody using the built-in sounds or one of your samples, and it'll be mono, so you can't do chords, but you can do a melody, and that's not limited to the 2 measures. It's limited by the number of notes. So you could have some drums along with 2 samples, maybe percussive samples, which is probably what I should try and get. to put into this drum beat, and then have a more melodic sample like the ones I have in here right now, um, playing along, and I believe you can, if you lay down a recording. Basically, I'm not going to call it a sequence because it's more of a recording of your performance. I think if you go back and you change to the fourth sample, or one of the other two, you can add that on top of the other one, and so it'll. I think there's a certain polyphony. I think it's 3-note polyphony. So if you've got four samples going off, one's going to get cut off. So anyway, let's yep. So things go off track. It's kind of hard to get good samples into it, but like here's something that works. You know. So here's how you add tracks. So I'm going to add some kicks to this rhythm. So, oh no, I think I just lost, let's see. I didn't lay the other one down. I'm going to do that tablas or whatever as the melody. So to add kicks to the rhythm, hit the kick. We're going to start. Use the trigger. Don't like it? Just delete it. Hold it down for 2 measures. Go with the snare first. Something's wrong with that kick, so let's redo that one. I don't know if it's got the resolution for, maybe I'm trying to put too much swing on it. It needs to be more straightforward. That one was timed wrong. There we go. out. Maybe one of those symbols there. You can adjust the individual volumes of each one, so that's where we're at. Alright, so I'm going to save that in program 1, and now I'm going to record melody number 2, which I can do with the sample, and we will use that one, right? I think it was on C. I have not recorded a melody yet, so I'm not sure if it's working.